final thing I kind of want to discuss, and
Sure.
this is kind of a juicy one.
Hmm?
New Tomorrowland. The new Tomorrowland.
Oh, boy.
1998's Tomorrowland. And so this was interesting because, look, folks, as you can see, Tony Baxter has an incredible career. The guy knows what he's doing. Between the new Fantasyland, Indiana Jones Adventure, Big Thunder, come on. I mean, Disneyland Paris, he knows what he's doing. But New Tomorrowland it premiered and it fell flat. Now, I will say this, and I think you'd probably agree with me, Dre, but we'll see. I think that this was really more of a budget cut thing than it was a design thing. I think what Tony had laid out, if you see some of that original New Tomorrowland artwork, it looks pretty incredible.
Yeah.
It looks pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. I think that we had a leadership. We had some leadership back then that was really bad. I mean, people think Chapek is bad right now. Bob Chapek is nothing compared to what we had back then with Paul Pressler. Yeah. This guy was the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really what did the New Tomorrowland in. I think if Tony was given, look, you have to balance the budget with the creatives. You can't just give them $3 billion to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to give them enough to have a product that looks good and operates good and is appealing. And I don't think they gave him enough money to do what he needed to do. And that was really the death knell for New Tomorrowland,
No, I think you're absolutely right. Tony, he fought for quality, always fought for the kind of bigger budget, the better idea, so to speak. But it was a time in management at Disney and so forth that just it wasn't going to go his way. It was pretty clear that was going to be the case. And at heart, he's a company man. He's a guy that's going to go. He will play ball in order to get products done and moving forward. He was involved in California Adventure famously, but a lot of his contributions came from Westcott, which I have a little piece of audio that's pretty cool. But when it came to New Tomorrowland, there was Tomorrowland 2055, which moved forward for quite a bit, and when those things got pulled out from underneath you, it's like, where do we go from here? Obviously, you do Discoveryland and Disneyland Paris, and it's like, okay, that might be a good fit for a more fantastical steampunk future. Unfortunately, they didn't get any of the fantastical steampunk budget to really fulfill it in the way that they could at Disneyland Paris previously, and really what it needed to really be 100% successful. And like you said, I mean, it was a budgetary thing. And I think at the time, there was some political maneuvering by some, and I think Tony Baxter was part of that to try to get this off the ground, but also try to deliver something that was the kind of the best it could, and unfortunately we're still living with the scars of that today in the form of rocket rods, for example, or Alien Pizza Planet and the Extinct Interventions building. We're still kind of living with some of the side effects from those decisions, unfortunately, and this is on the record.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate, because I think if you kind of let Tony go wild, the guy does amazing things. And like I said, I mean, there's always going to be a limit to that, like you can't just give, I support creatives 100%, but you can't, but at the same time, it is a business, and you can't just have a blank check, so I understand that, but that era though was really, really dark for Disneyland. And it really, they nickel and dimed way too much. At least with Bob Chapek, he has his black eyes when it comes to Imagineering, but but like you've said, and I've mentioned it too, like he's not completely averse to spending money. Like the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser is costing them an arm and a leg for. I mean, that's a high quality thing that they're building, and the Tron and the Cosmic Rewind over in Florida. He's not adverse to it. I think he just wants to know, if I'm going to spend X amount of dollars, I'm going to get my money back. Where Paul Pressler, he didn't want to spend anything. It was just cheap all the way through, So
Yeah, and this is, you know, and some of Chapek's decisions are consistent with kind of an IP driven focus. It's going to benefit the company. It's going to be it's going to have synergy with the company. It's going to be based on properties that are very successful, and usually that amounts to the ride being very successful. So I think that's where his focus at. That's where his mindset's at. So I don't think he's averse to spending money. It's just it's got to be towards an end.